Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy. So our story continues with the shocking return and reveal of Cabba, the Universe 6 Saiyan protege of Vegeta, who escaping from the ground, now covered in blood, and importantly, missing an entire arm, future Gohan style, would just tremble as he would struggle forward muttering, Kale, Caulifla, please be okay, please be okay. But after the briefest of moments spent walking forward, his frail and quickly losing blood body would come to an abrupt stop. His lifeless eyes looking to the sky, endlessly pouring down as if it were reflecting his own grief and mourning, as he would now whisper in a quietening voice, I can't think like that. Even if I go now, you two need to live on. I just wish I was stronger. I wish I didn't let you two down. And as his head would finally begin to bow, looking to the floor, his words would then transform into thoughts, thinking, that demon, that monster, send him to hell for me. As now with his eyes closing and his vision turning to the dark abyss, his final goodbye would be, where I'm going, I better not see you two, not for a while. And just like that, as if his entire life force and body had given up on him, his torso would collapse in on himself, hunching over, his moan just traveling into the wind, before beginning to fall backwards in slow motion, his head and neck now almost a horizontal 180 degrees, ready to strike the ground until suddenly a white hand, gloved, almost like a guardian angel, would appear to grab onto the young Saiyan and stop his fall. Cabba! As it would eventually then be revealed to be none other than the prince himself, Vegeta. As instantly recognizing his energy, Cabba would regain consciousness and yell out, Master! There's no way! Is it really you? Or am I dead? As now opening his eyes, he would continue, No, I can still feel the rain. It's so cold. What are you doing here? As smiling back, Vegeta would then respond, What am I doing here? Saving weaklings like you from dying, of course. What kind of teacher would I be if I let my best student go out like this? To which a presumably now angry and disappointed in himself Cabba would just grumble, I'm sorry. But disregarding the apology, Vegeta would instead reach into his back pocket and respond, Never mind that. I don't even know what's happened here yet. We need to talk, but you'll need your energy back first. As looking closer at his hand, once it would emerge, it would be revealed to contain a senzu bean. As he would then look down to his student and say, "Here, stop talking and eat this." And with that, following his master's orders without question, Kappa would then swallow the strange vegetable. What? And almost instantly, like magic, Kappa, reinvigorated with life, would burst open his eyes with disbelief. As now back on his feet, standing on his own, and virtually blemishless compared to before, he would instantly yell, "My energy! It's all back! I'm healed already! What the hell was that, Master?" As Vegeta would initially just smile in the background, entertained by his reaction. But getting back to business soon and observing his student closer, he would then say, "Yeah, healed somewhat. It's called a senzu bean, a specialty of the Earthlings. But as far as that arm goes, that won't be coming back anytime soon. Tell me, what happened here?" As if Kappa's mood brought crashing back down to reality, he too would then look down to his missing arm and comment, "Yeah, it's a shame, but at least I'm still alive. All of this, was because of that one demon, that monster, the Emperor Flame." Flame! But instantly on hearing this, a wave of confusion and shock would come over the prince, as his mind would then cast back to the demon emperor he fought with Goku, also called Flame, and most definitely left defeated. As now angered and raising his fist, Vegeta would let out, "What's the meaning of this? Either these demons have the same names, or whoever did this to you is already one I took down. A tall freak with a bandana, always talking about women. Ring any bells?" To which Kappa, still looking down, saddened, would let out, "Yeah, that's the one. I guess if you fought him, that explains where he left off to." As beginning now to explain what exactly went on, Kappa would reveal, "That guy, he was insane. Kale, Caulifla, and myself were just outmatched. None of us could do a thing to him. I thought we were all going to die. But just before he could finish any of us off, it felt like someone was talking to him. Someone he kept calling Lucif. Before I knew it, he was gone. But that didn't mean we were safe." What? But still with a stunned look on his expression, Vegeta could hardly believe such a story, as he would then think back and recall, "That weakling demon did this? Really? Now that I think about it, mixed in with his nonsensical tales, he did mention something about fighting Saiyans before, didn't he? I guess I never even put two and two together. Huh. Serves me right for spending so much time with Kakarot. I'm getting dumber by the second." But soon enough, returning to normal, Vegeta would then continue. "Right, so when he eventually left, what happened then? You say he didn't beat you guys, yet you also say you weren't safe either. Don't tell me you three were taken out by the little weak demons roaming around. No, not at all, Master. But quick to dismiss such a thought, Cabba would be up in arms, or should I say, up in arm, as he would explain, no, someone worse came to replace him. Someone far worse. I don't know if he was just as strong, as we never really got to see the full power of either of them, but he definitely was far more evil. I'm only alive because he enjoyed playing with his prey so much. That's why I'm hoping Kale and Caulifla survive too somewhere. Though Vegeta, perhaps for obvious reasons, would ignore the last part of what Cabba said and turned his back, looking to the sky, instead inquiring, judging by the fact there's no siphoning tower here yet, I'm guessing this demon you speak of is still here somewhere then. Quickly, tell me where he is. I'll deal with him now. To which Cabba would instantly reply, well, I was out cold, but if you think he's still fighting, then he has to be at the capital. That's where the most Saiyans would be, including the king and his guards. Maybe Kale and Caulifla would be there too. But just like that, like in a rush, Vegeta would fly off, ready to meet this so-called evil demon. Wait! Leaving Cabba behind in the rain. Until ultimately, he too would then follow the lead of his master and shoot off towards the planet Sadala capital. But when our scene would eventually shift to where the once vibrant city was, full of Saiyan architecture, all that would be visible instead would seemingly be pure destruction. And our first sight of any life would then be a muscular leg, covered in electricity, as an iconic tail would swing in the background. You will pay for what you have done to my Sadala! As suddenly then seen, roaring with intensity and vigor, the long since appeared King of Sadala in his Super Saiyan 5 form would then be witnessed, his aura exploding as his crimson eyes would stare forward at his foe. Men, engage for battle! Yes, sir! As now surrounded by his vicious white aura, he would throw out commands to his nearby guards, a black-haired warrior in front as one example before. As in tandem, a group of Saiyans, much like the ones from planet Vegeta, would all instantly activate their golden Super Saiyan forms, all yelling out their loyalty to the planet they call home, each looking battle-worn, as if this fight had been going on for some time. Until in an instant, like moths towards a flame, the group of Super Saiyan warriors would rush forward towards a dark silhouette in the distance. A large, imposing figure that stands confidently with its hands on its hips, waiting for its next victim. As finally revealed as the second demon to have graced planet Sadala would be a large pink creature, clearly formulated from the evil of Majin Buu, his body slightly more muscular, yet still bearing a giant stomach which ripples as he grabs onto it, two devilish horns spiking out of his head, the creepy teeth-filled grin it would let out. "Come, you cretins! Come feed me, your pathetic souls! I'm hungry!" And indeed, the Saiyans would then feed the monster, a mixture of knuckle sandwiches to be precise, as each of the Saiyans would then go on to land a barrage of attacks, from punches to the face, knees into the stomach, a blast right on the demon's skull, and finally a chopping strike right in between the creature's horns. But of course, in every situation, the impact would hardly seem to be making any difference. Delicious! As suddenly letting out an insane laughter rather than any sign of pain, the gluttonous demon would inadvertently drool out spit as he would yell, "This has been the most fun planet to devour yet! The silly hair colors, the misplaced confidence of you fools! Oh, I am so glad Lord Lucif allowed me to replace Flame. That jerk would never have been able to appreciate you. Now come." Before now lifting up his arms with a calm face, the demon would then finally say, "My turn to play!" As thrusting his arms forward like shotguns, the obese demon would show insane speed for his size. Instantly grabbing two of the lone Super Saiyans by their faces alone, so quick neither could react, even from their distance. And as they would briefly react in panic, it would only last so long before... What? In a brutal display of overwhelming difference in strength, like popping two balloons, the demon would close his hands and in his grasp instantly kill both Saiyans, all as their fellow brethren would watch on in disbelief. Coca! Oba! No! And as one of the Super Saiyans would eventually scream out in rage and terror at the sight before him, his loud bellow would soon be cut short, transformed into a mellow sound of confusion, as he would look down and... Right in front of him, his entire torso would be pierced, penetrated from one end to the other by the great demon's sizable horn, splattering blood everywhere before quickly being moved forwards with extreme speed. The unnamed Super Saiyan's now lifeless body would then be tossed off into the distance like mere discarded trash. Damn it! I can't do this! My king, I'm sorry! But as the last Saiyan god on the battlefield would realize just how pointless this attempt to win would be, his natural Saiyan instincts would fail him and he would immediately turn and run. Hold on! I haven't finished my plate yet! But with the warrior in the demon's sights regardless, all he would need to do is bring the pink tentacle on the back of his skull into view before... Shot like a firework, the pink limb would fire across the area at unbelievable speed. immediately wrapping around the neck of the fleeing Saiyan like a dog on a leash. And just like that, the golden fighter would be slammed to the ground and dragged unceremoniously towards his predator. Let go! Ultimately then being brought face to face with the giant demon, with his face quivering with fear as he would be lifted 6 feet off the ground by his head alone. And as his screams would become muffled as if there was a lack of air, his eyes would become bloodshot and his white complexion now a shade of red. The grip of the demon's tentacle would seemingly be getting tighter and tighter until... like a champagne bottle being popped in a horrific scene, the evil Kappa spoke of would be in full view. As instantly decapitated, the Saiyan's head would burst off from his own body with an explosion of blood following him. A juicy one, aren't you? All before the now blood-covered demon, who with those same teeth would put on the most heartless of grins. You will pay for what you've done! As after witnessing this all happen right before his eyes, the enraged King of the Saiyans, in his Super Saiyan 5 form, would then retaliate by focusing all of his power into one singular ball of energy, glowing a vibrant golden yellow, as if its energy was the very essence of Super Saiyan power. Die, you beast! As just like that, giving it everything he had and more, in a ferocious forward-blasting energy beam, the power of the Sadala Saiyans would come rushing forward at the unstoppable demon. Silly me! How could I forget about the main course? But unsettlingly, even as his face would get lost in the light with the powerful blast of energy near enough at his doorstep, the only thing we would see is that same grin. But the confidence would mean little when on impact, an explosion worthy of the Saiyan race would then shockwave across the planet, being felt even throughout the universe with its sheer power and size. And on the other end, its creator, the King of Sadana, would be left exhausted, huffing and puffing away, as even he can't help but be in slight awe of his own abilities. You came to the wrong planet, you pink blob. The Saiyans are not to be messed with! As now feigning a smile, convinced that his attack had done the intended damage and saved Sadala once and for all, the Super Saiyan 5 would finally relax. The Saiyans? You mean those pests I just popped the heads of? Funny! But all calm and peace would be eradicated once the snarly voice of a certain demon would be heard, and be heard far too close to home. How could you? How could you survive that? As right behind the Royal Saiyan, the pink demon would stand, towering over without a scratch and his arms behind his head nonchalantly, grinning away as he would respond, "Survive what? You mean that piddly attack from earlier? You mortals really do have no idea why the gods feared the demons. You're going to learn today!" As in one unexpected swoop, with violent intent, the pink creature would bring both arms down swinging like pendulums, right down to slam on both sides of the unreactive Saiyan. His skull almost squeezed inwards like a Coke can as blood is forced out through his mouth. Impossible! As in the end, just with this strike alone, the king's entire transformation would fade, instantly reverting back to base with a look of pure confusion on his countenance, as he would first fall directly to his knees and then onto his hands and feet, as if bowing to the victor, the new demonic king of Sadala. Well, that was a quick meal. I could leave you to provide your energy to Lord Lucifer, but honestly, I don't think you're worth much even alive. Time to say goodbye, my king. As now pointing his palm directly at the fallen back of the king, the dark demonic energy of pure black would formulate in his hand. So this is how it ends. The end of my lineage, just before my son's birth. As now, with a tear falling from his eyes in his final moments, he would whisper, "Live on, Mato." But just as his eyes would begin to close, as his whole body would begin to shut down in his now obscured view, mysteriously, 2 Saiyan boots would appear before him. As suddenly revealed would be none other than Vegeta finally, standing in front of both a bemused Saiyan and demon, as looking down at the Royal King, he would simply command, "Get up, Saiyan! Don't besmirch the royalty of my people! Up! Now!" What? As the demon, who senses the complete lack of fear from this new warrior, would simply question in caution, "Excuse me? Who the hell are you now? We're in the middle of something." "I wasn't talking to you, Tubby!" As just like that, with just the sight of Vegeta's purple seraphim, struck by nothing but pure Saiyan presence, the sadistic creature would be catapulted far off into the distance, as if he had just been struck by a bulldozer. All while the prince himself would remain standing rock solid in front of the king. And with the demon now gone for the moment, still flying off, the space would clear for the Sadala Saiyan to now get up slowly. Eventually on his feet, standing in front of Vegeta, who he had never seen before, as he would just let out, "You! I'm going to guess you're not one of my men. Tell me, what is your name?" To which Vegeta, now just walking past the king uninterested, would just respond, "You know who I am, and I know who you are. Like I said, don't disgrace the name of a king, and don't disgrace the memory I have of my father. Now go! Go save the rest of your people! Don't die like my father did. I'll handle the rest from here. As true to his word, the Saiyan from Universe 7 would then fly off into the sky without a word more. While the king, reflecting on what the strange warrior had just said to him, would then think, his father. So that was the so-called Saiyan King of Universe 7. One half of that monster, Vegito. Why that cretin? But meanwhile, back with the pink monster, in the distance, he would finally regain himself in the air and come to a stop. Who the hell does he think he is? What was that anyway? As now full of rage, his comparison to Majin Buu would be complete, as boiling steam would shoot ferociously out of his pores, and his classic grin would now turn to a furious grimace, wondering who this new mortal on the battlefield even was. Here he is. And it wouldn't be long before he would get his chance to find out, as Vegeta would soon reach his location. And now, cracking his knuckles, the prince would say, let's skip the chatter and get down to business. You aren't the first pink blob I've had to deal with, but you will be the last. Don't call me that! As now enraged, following Vegeta's orders, it seems to skip the talk. Like a bull, he would rush instantly at Vegeta as if he were his greatest enemy. Now that's more like it. This will turn back the years for sure. As Vegeta, now looking to relive the past of a fight decades before, would then rush in with full enthusiasm. And unlike the Saiyans before, even with his black hair, when he would land a knee right on the pink demon's face, it would be felt for devastating impact. As would a left hook at point blank range. And as would each and every one of his following attacks in the brutal assault he would then barrage the demon with, who genuinely is not even able to fight back in the slightest. Until with one final punch, the monstrous pile of fat would be sent flying across the battlefield once more. This time, however, managing to recover quickly, landing on his feet with a beaten up face. You think attacks like that will do anything to me, mortal? Think again! But as his rage would build, much like the original Buu, the indentations from Vegeta's attacks would immediately just pop back out like fixing a dent in a car. Wait! But as he would peer closer, he would soon realize the Saiyan Prince may already be one step ahead. Oh, I know already, you blob. Like I said, this isn't my first time fighting someone like you. And this time, I'll make sure you die and stay that way! As now coated in a raging aura, with his fist pointed forward, underneath, a strange creature made of pure destructive energy would soon fall. Hakai! As shouting out the call of the destroyers, blasting forth would almost be a ghost of the gods of destruction that came before. What? This mortal knows the Hakai! But this final thought would truly be the last, as in a flash, completely encompassed, Vegeta's destructive attack would erase the demonic creature near instantly. And in the aftermath, just leaving a giant crater behind, similar to the one Vegeta left from his final atonement against Boo. But of course, with the prince still alive this time. As smirking away, the Seraphim Saiyan would then let out, Guess the king was right after all. You don't ever want to mess with the Saiyans. But as this battle would end, elsewhere, a pair of mysterious feet would be seen walking across a dark red, stone-paved floor. A muscular hand, fraught with opening and closing eyes, would then begin to twitch, reacting to the nearby movement until...
What is it, slave?
As unbelievably, we would then finally see Lucif once more, sitting upon his throne, clearly ticked off over being disturbed, as he would then rudely ask,
This better be good. I don't like having my time wasted.
But the mystery figure that would respond, a creature with blue eyes and a dark silhouette, would then humbly reply, My apologies, my lord, but I come with good news from the demon realm, that Vegito, he has finally fallen. The God Killer is dead. And on hearing this, what would have started as a small chuckle would then evolve into a full-blown laugh, clearly extremely pleased, as if he had been waiting for this day for some time. As almost schizophrenically calming down, fading into the shadows, he would then address the mystery figure once more who delivered the news and say,
My, what glorious news! It's only fitting you would be the one to deliver it, my little sleeper agent.
You have my thanks, Whis! My pleasure, my lord. As in a shocking, unexpected twist, seen for the very first time since the second ever chapter of Ultra Vegito, Whis is revealed as alive once more, and somehow working for Lucif of all creatures. How? What? Why? Find out in the next episode of Ultra Vegito. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Whis in the comments down below and let me know just how Whis survived and what he's doing with Lucif. Or just find out now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,700 other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.